Hey everyone, it's Katie from Create Your Future, and today I have a special course for you, and it's all about how to manifest your SP through your inner conversations. So if you don't know me, I have been a life coach for many years. I'm certified. I also teach meditation and yoga, and most importantly, I've been a coach at Create Your Future for some time, and I love to help people have an experience of their inner SP here and now. So you no longer feel the void of being separated, or you no longer feel, any type of discomfort from creating an SP that's less than desirable, from feeling that they're not with you, they don't love you, they're not everything you want them to be, because that is very much possible for you. And by doing this in this course, I intend you have a direct experience of your ideal SP, how much they love you, and you will now have a technique that's always been available to you. You've been doing it the entire time, actually, but now that you're conscious of it, you can really control your inner conversations and create the life of your greatest desires. So let's dive right in. I like to start, and you'll see a lot of Neville Goddard in this course. I'm a huge fan of Neville Goddard. I really do find his teachings lead the way to creating a kingdom of love, is something that we'll talk about at the end here. It really allows one that's interested in expanding their awareness and, following the law of assumption, the law of attraction. It allows one to really get really clear on how they can have anything they want. So the quote I have here is, most of us are totally unaware of the fact that our inner conversations are the causes of the circumstances of our life. But take a moment, take a breath, and just look around you in this moment. Everything that's around you right here and now, the circumstances of your life, who you're with, who you're not with, your job, money, family, relationships, all of it is caused by the inner circumstances. Now, if you've been following our channel or you've been studying law of attraction, then you know that your thoughts create. And we're thinking right over 60,000 thoughts a day. And most of these thoughts you'll find, if you are aware of what's going on within, which is where everything really stems from, they're inner conversations. You're having conversations with yourself. You're having conversations with your specific person. You're having conversations with your family, your friends, your work, money, everything. And so when you look at what's going on around you, I guarantee you, if you take the time to really witness what conversations you're having, they will directly match up, right? Because what we do within gets pushed out. So let's go further into what that looks like and how you can use that to your advantage. So in this course, okay, let's kind of go into what we're going to be covering today. What we wish to hear without, we must first hear within. This course is all about hearing what you want within so you can see it without. In this course, I'm going to show you how to have inner conversations, right, consciously, because again, you've been doing it anyway. And through inner conversations, I'm going to show you how you can create your ideal version of your SP, your specific person. You can create them to say and do all that you've desired. You can create your ideal version of you in this relationship. And you're going to be able to create an ideal inner world that will get pushed out by feeling it real. So we're going to cover all this and a little bit more. So make sure you have a pen and paper, because this will be very interactive. I'm going to have you really go into the exercises that I do with my clients in one-on-one sessions, right? And by really taking the time for yourself right now, I encourage you to really, everything that this course asks you to do, give it your all. You're worthy of having everything you want. And by taking this time to go within and to recreate the conversations you've been having, your life will completely transform. Because if we really want to change the outside world, we have to go within. So let's talk about what a desire is. I want you to take a moment and think about your desired reality. You're here because there's something that you want, right? Maybe you want to get your SP back into your life. Maybe you want more contact with them. Maybe you want to recreate them to be a better version of themselves. Maybe you want more love in your life, more passion. Whatever it is that you are currently desiring, it is available to you right now. Neville would say it's already done. Right, so our quote here is, if you will assume your desire and live there as though it were true, no power on earth can stop it from becoming a fact. You are the god or goddess of your reality. You have all the power in the world to create anything you want, because your imagination, your awareness of being creates. So your awareness of being, or what I'll call the 4D, is what we're doing within. It's our thoughts, our feelings, our assumptions. That is all creating the world around us. And whatever we assume as we're creating is what we're going to get. So I want you to right now assume that your desire is done and it's waiting for you. That desired reality with your person is very much a reality. And through this technique, you're going to learn how to really bring it to life. It's a power you've always had within you. You've probably used it for a lot of different things. We're always manifesting. But now I'm going to show you how to really consciously do it, no matter how difficult it might seem. Nothing's easy or hard in terms of manifesting, right? Like all miracles are just as easy because you have the power of your imagination, of your thoughts, of your inner conversations, which will bring you anything you want. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why that is. But let's take a breath and go into what your desire is. So close your eyes, put a hand on your heart, and just really go into what is my true desire? What does my heart want more than anything? And just breathe into the ideal world. What would that look like? Who's in it? How do you feel in it? What does it look like? Who are you sharing it with? You could have anything you want, right? Any person you want, any way of being you want. What would that look like? Just allow your heart to show you your greatest desire. Don't worry about the how, just see it. And take a moment to write that down. And we'll be doing this throughout the video, so you can always pause to make sure you just get everything down. There's something about putting pen to paper and writing down this desire that allows one to really bring it from the 4D, which is your inner world, your inner thoughts, emotions, all that, and put it into the 3D. All right, so once you have that down, let's go on to the next step. We're going to go into what our current circumstances are, just to acknowledge how important the inner conversations are, but then we're going to go back to how to manifest this desire of yours. Okay, so the cause of our circumstances can be found in our consistent thoughts and inner conversations. So again, I want you to just look around you, right? What is the circumstance of your life? And actually take a moment to write that down. What's your current story about yourself, about your specific person, about who you are, about who they are, right? And you can put other things into this equation too, like where you're living, what's going on, just whatever stories or assumptions, if you will. Get them all down on paper. And without judgment, just we're going to see what they are. We're going to see, right, if this really does work. Do inner conversations and thoughts really create our reality? So once you have that all down, let's look at what our inner conversations are. Right, so take a moment to close the eyes and just go within. What's your current inner conversation, your inner thoughts about this course? What's your current inner conversation about your specific person? Do you feel like they're with you? Do you feel like they're outside of you? Are you fighting with them? Do you think they don't want you? Are they rejecting you? Do you feel they're being unfair to you? Do you feel like this is too hard? Do you even hear them within you? Or do you think they're just outside somewhere? What's really important is as we become aware of our inner conversations, we want to take note that we've been doing them the whole time. Throughout your day, you're always having inner conversations about who you are, about your boss, about your job, about money, about kids, about your specific person. And because of this idea that everyone is you pushed out, everyone is alive inside of you, they are always responding to you, right? So others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. So what does that mean? What that means is for every thought you have about someone, every story, every assumption, every expectation you have towards a specific person, because they are alive within you, they're responding to every single thought you're having. Now, if you think of like your best friend or a parent or someone that you just love, or your dog, someone you love so dearly, you have a very positive, usually, inner conversation, right? Where you just know what they would say to you. They know, if like you text them, like what they're going to say back to you. You know, when you think of them, like, oh, they would love this. Like there's so many positive assumptions in your conversation. I bet if you close your eyes, you could even hear them say something like, I love you, or even hear them say like, I'm you pushed out. You can probably hear their voice. You can see them, right? So they are alive inside of you because what we imagine, what we think, the inner conversations we're having within get pushed out. This whole 3D world, so this external world, is just a reflection of what we're doing within. The way everyone is you pushed out works, right? As I said, it's the thoughts, the assumptions, the stories we have, and the inner conversations we have with them within get pushed out. So if you want to know why you're fighting with your SP, why you're separated from them, why you don't have them in your life, why anything's going on, look at what your conversation is and see if it matches up. Go ahead and write down your current conversation with your specific person. Again, just noticing, like, am I even hearing them? Am I just fighting? Am I just arguing? No judgment, but just notice how they are just responding to your inner conversations, right? And this is important because if we want to change the outside world, we have to go within and change the inner world, because that's where it all starts. They are only alive inside of you. This is the here and now of where we want to go, to have positive inner conversations with them now, to change whatever they're doing out there, because whatever they're doing in your 3D world is just an old story, right? But we're going to change that. So most of us rob others of their willingness and their ability to be kind and generous by our fixed attitudes towards them. So let's say you just have a story that the one you love doesn't love you. Let's say you are still hurt about being rejected. Let's say that you see someone in their worst light because you're hurt, you still have walls up. Well, you're robbing your person of being the most loving version available for you. I have this belief that your specific person wants to love you, because if you have a desire, it's because what you want wants you, right? There could be no other way. It would make no sense in our world for us to have desires just to always be rejected. What would be the point of life? I really do find that when we have a desire, it's that natural next course of action. It's the next step. But it's up to us to then recreate our specific person to be the best version of themselves, right? So we're going to be creating intentions around your ideal specific person, so you can start to have inner conversations with them and finally create them to be in your life every single day, right? So no more fixed attitudes towards someone, no more negativity, no more criticism. It's time to let that go, because they're only you pushed out. They have no free will, and what that means is they can only act based on how you perceive them within, because they're only alive inside of you. So if you're seeing something you don't like on the outside, the best news is you can go and change it within, because what you want wants you. But you just have to be willing to see them in their best light, and only you can generate that. So that's what we're going to do, okay? All right, so let's talk about creating our ideal SP. All right, a man's mental conversations attracts his life, his or her. As long as there is no change in his inner talking, the personal history of the man remains the same. To attempt to change the world before we change our inner talking is to struggle against the very nature of things, because our inner talking creates our world. Our inner conversations create the circumstances of our life. So if we want to change the outside, we have to go within and change the inside, because that's where it all starts. This is your power source, right? What you think, what you feel, that is what gets reflected out here. So we have to go within and change that. And the best part is you have all the power to change all of it, right? And I'm going to show you right through inner conversations. I find it's one of the best techniques to do that, because we do it naturally. We are always having inner conversations. And by creating the best version of your SP, you're going to learn how to hear from them what you want to hear, how much they love you, how much they care for you. And that's actually going to help you also become the best version of yourself, because everyone's the best version of themselves when they're loved, right? So the one thing I'm really asking from you in this course to get the most out of it is you want to drop the old version of your person. We need to let go of what Neville calls the old man, the old story, your old fixed attitudes. No more robbing them from who they really are. I want you to start imagining that your specific person, just like you, is perfect and whole and is a being of light. They're here to love you. They want to love you. They're waiting for you to let them in. And that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be giving them the gift of creating them to be the best version, so they can finally show up that way. So we need to let go of the old version and generate the new one. And a huge part of this, we'll talk about this more, is persisting. It's about, once you get clear on who your new version is, you have to be loyal to them. You have to commit to them. Just like you want them to commit to you, you need to commit to this new version so they can finally come through, because only you can do it. All right. So I want you to take a nice deep breath in and just come into your heart. I do find putting the hands on the heart can really help. And come into the best version of your SP. Now, for some of you, it might be when you first met them. Remember what they were like. For some, you might just need to create a whole new version. There's nothing wrong with that. And I want you to imagine the best version of your specific person. What are the attributes of this person? right? What suits who you are and what you need and what you want. So the first question is, who do you want them to be? Right? What values do they have? How do they present themselves? Who are they as a person? How would you describe them as a person? Take a moment to breathe that in. Just see it first, really see in detail who this person is, and then start to write this down. Again, knowing you can always pause to really get everything down. Right? Give yourself the gift of going all out. Find your ideal person here. They're in your heart, they've been waiting. All right, next is, how do you want them to act? How do you want them to act around you? How do you want them to act around others? How do you want them to act in their own life? And the next is, how do you want them to think about you? What is the story they tell about you when friends or family asks about you? What do they say? How do they sing your praises? Because you also create what they think. You create everything in this. And how do you want them to feel? Remember, you pushed out. So I highly suggest that anything you're asking of this person, would you want it to, right? Because they are you. They're an extension of you. How do you want them to feel? Do you want them to be happy, successful? And once you have all this down, I want you to review this new version of your SP. Really see it and circle the words you keep putting, because I guarantee you there's key values or words or attributes or actions that are really important to you. And I suggest you circle at least 5, because the next step is we're going to be creating intentions. Intentions are really focused thoughts about who this new version of your SP is. Because if we want to create it without, we need to get really focused on it within. We need to see clearly who this being really is. So feel free to pause the video, make sure you answer all of these questions, and start to have a clear, brand new picture of who your ideal specific person is. Right? There's no limitations here. And once you have that, circle all the main attributes or actions you want to see. Try to get at least 5. All right, so we're going to move on to the next step where we're going to create some intentions for them. So intentions, as I mentioned, are thought to create, are inner conversation to create. And I like to use intentions to get really clear on what is it that I want to manifest, because I know that whatever I'm thinking about all day long is what I'm going to experience in my life, right? And so I need to get clear on this new version of my person. I can no longer react to the old man, as we called it, the old version of them that, is separate from us or doing things that we don't like. We let that go. And now my main focus and what I'm loyal to is this vision of this new person. And I use intentions to help me get really clear on whatever it is I'm trying to create. So what I want you to go by is, again, that new story you wrote down for them. What are the main intentions you wrote down? What are the main actions that you want to see from them? And these are your new intentions. So I will give you an example for each one, but trust your own inner wisdom. Trust that whatever it is that you want from your person, you know best and you can have it. So for the intention, I've given you 2 choices, but you can do as many as you want, right? But you want to do an intention like I intend, and put their name if you want, right? Does like some action or attribute, right? So an action that I put that is really common is they're constantly contacting me, right? And we're always having loving conversations. That's the action I want to see in my ideal SP. So you want to go through your list of all the main attributes or actions you want to see and do an intention. I intend that, their name, and then put the action or the attribute you want to see. So an attribute, I intend they are so kind and loving with me always, right? And have a list of at least 5 is my recommendation. You can have as many as you want. There's no such thing as too many intentions. Another way you can formulate this is I love with their name is always contacting me, always having loving conversations with me. Right? Whatever works for you. Is you want to find the intention that really arouses feeling, that feels true for you. So take a moment here, pause the video. Be sure to have all 5 intentions at least, because this is our foundation for our inner conversations. Intentions, again, they get us clear on what we want to manifest. So at the end of this, you should have a very clear picture of like, this is who my new SP is. They're kind, they're loving, they're constantly contacting me, whatever it is. But you want to start to be able to see them. And then when you have that, let's go to the next part, and we're going to go into the inner conversations, which is really going to allow you to feel and experience who this new being is for you. Okay. So now that you have that clearer idea, we're going to stay focused on the new story and allow it to become dominant in your mind. Now you'll start to see the manifestation of this new version of your SP when it's dominant, when you're focused on them and them only. What I recommend to all my clients is stay in your inner world. This is where it all happens. And remember, actually, as you are creating this inner version of your SP, he actually or she actually already exists, right? According to Neville Goddard and what I've seen through experiences, creation, right, is it's already done, right? It's already yours. And all you have to do is claim it through having these inner conversations, through feeling it real. And as you focus on the inner conversations and feel the feelings that align with that desired reality, it starts to get pushed out, right? As soon as it's dominant, it gets pushed out. And so we're not necessarily changing your SP as much as we're like picking the best version of them, right? There is a reality where you two are already together. You're already in love. You're already having the best relationship. But you have to, right, act as God, right? In a sense of you have to see things unseen and call them as seen, and then they'll become seen. And that's what working in the 4D is. It's saying like, nope, this is who they are in this reality. This is who I am in this reality. This is how we talk. And as I experience this within, it gets pushed out. And Neville would even say, and I love this, imagination is the only thing that's real. If you look around you again, this is all changeable. It's all malleable. It's all old news. So what you're doing within right now is way more real. So remember, as you're talking to your inner SP, as you're about to, that is really them. You can even imagine them just like holding you, right? Or telling you the words, or speaking through you, because that's what's really happening, because they're alive inside of you. Okay, so let's go ahead and create these inner conversations to further enforce the new version of them. Because if you want to hear it without, you must first hear it within. So I'll give you an example, and then you're going to go off on your own. Okay, so you take your list of intentions that you've already written out, right? So again, like I intend that their name is constantly contacting me. We always have loving conversations. So that's your intention. And then under that, or another page, whatever works for you, doesn't matter. You're going to now become them, feel into their energy, and ask yourself, what would they say, this new version of them that is always contacting me, that is always reaching out to me, that loves me so much? What would they say to me? As if they were talking to me, because they are. What would they say to me to back up this intention? So the example here is the SP would say, I love checking in on you. I love talking with you every single day. I really appreciate our connection, and I feel so close to you. So I want you to allow your inner SP to talk through you. You cannot do this wrong. Just feel it out and trust whatever comes. So for each intention, you're going to go ahead and just write out a response from them. What would they say, right? What's the narrative that enforces this new action or attribute? So write out your intention again, or just see it and write out what they would say to you to enforce it. And as you write it out, maybe you hear them, right? Speak as you are them. Maybe you feel them holding you. Maybe you see what they're doing. And even if you're not a very visual person, your subconscious is seeing this, right? And it is about imprinting the subconscious, as we'll talk more about, that allows the feeling to become dominant. It allows this picture to really be imprinted upon the subconscious, which then gets printed onto the screen of space or this 3D reality. So just focus on what they say to you. We're going to work on your response in the next section. So feel free again to pause and make sure you go through every single intention you have and write out what they would say to you. Try to get everything down, and remember, that is really them. Once you have everything down, I want you to read it out loud. And again, we're going to imprint the subconscious a little bit more, and I want you to feel them, like feel them holding you, or you're holding them, or holding hands, or they're looking into your eyes. And hear what they have to say to you, because that was them. They're alive inside of you. What did they say to you to back up each intention? Read it out loud and imagine, which the only thing that's real is imagination, right? That this new version is with you now. And just notice how that feels. And when you're ready, we'll go on to the next part where you're going to respond, because not only are you recreating them, but this is going to bring out a new version of you. Because just as there's infinite versions of your SP and you're just picking the one that you want, there's infinite versions of you. And there's a version of you that's so loved and so adored. And we want to know who that version is. We want you to feel comfortable in this new relationship. So let's go there. So go back over your intentions and what they said to you. And then you want to allow a really just natural response. And I do recommend feeling statements, because as you know, when we feel, feelings is secret, as Neville Goddard would say, our subconscious is imprinted. And when our subconscious is imprinted, because the whole universe is our subconscious, right, it gets pushed out. So as you feel your responses, as you feel them talking to you, and as you feel yourself responding, you are creating this new reality through inner conversation. So allow yourself to feel, allow your heart to open, allow your body to go soft as you receive this love. So let me give you a quick example. So we have the intention, and we read what they would say to us to back it up. And then you want to ask yourself, how would I respond to them? And if we do it in a feeling statement, it would sound something like this, right? So I intend my specific person is constantly contacting me. We always have loving conversations. They say to me, I love checking in on you. I love talking with you every single day. I really appreciate our connection and I feel so close to you. And then I would respond and say to them, I feel so loved and adored. I love that you are always checking in on me and showing me that I'm always on your mind. I'm gonna allow myself to feel it. So you want to write down your response and you want to feel it. What's it like to be this new version of you that's so loved? So pause the video and be sure to answer every single conversation that's been started by your SP and respond to them so we can have a nice, beautiful, full conversation. Once you have everything finished, right, I want you to go ahead and just reflect on this new reality, this new relationship that you've entered into that's real now, because manifesting happens in the now, right? And so as we talked about earlier, whatever the mind of man can conceive and feel is true, the subconscious can and must objectify. Your feelings create the pattern from which your world is fashioned, and a change of feeling is a change of pattern. So I want you to really ask yourself, when you read your entire conversation, read it out loud to yourself. And ask yourself, how do I feel? Be sure to write down, like, how would I describe this new version of myself? How would I describe this brand new relationship? Right? How do you feel now that you are in it and your SP is always with you? I want you to memorize this feeling. And from now on, you want to live right in closer proximity to this feeling. We all go through ups and downs, but really, you want to live in this feeling of the wish fulfilled, of feeling so loved and adored, of being so proud of your specific person, of being so proud of your relationship, of feeling so just, really certain in your ability to manifest anything you want. There's a deep peace that comes with this. I want you to feel certain right now that what you just focused on, what you just created with your SP is real, and it will get pushed out because it's law. As you feel this, those feelings are real and it will get pushed out. Right? You are the only creator. And this is like your God-given right. You as God being the awareness of your being, to have this. And it's done. So take a moment to really read it over out loud and answer these questions. So be sure to pause, answer the questions, and take it in. And just memorize, who am I now? What life am I living now? Because life is just a state of being. And as you become the wish fulfilled, as you become satisfied in this new relationship, it shall be. So as we bring things to a close here, I want to again just look at that, yes, the great secret of success is a controlled inner conversation from premises of fulfilled desired. So you just did it. You created a successful conversation that is from a fulfilled desired. And now you have to persist. Now you have to stay loyal and committed to this new reality that you're creating within. Drop the old man, drop the old conversation, drop the old version. This is who you are now, and you will have success. So in terms of persisting, this is one of the most important elements of manifesting. Right? I want you to ask yourself throughout the day, what is my aim? Right? Does your inner talking match it? So as Neville says, it must, if you would realize your aim. For as the prophet asked, can two walk together except they be agreed? And of course the answer is no, they cannot. The two who must agree are your inner conversation and the state desired. That is, what you desire to see and hear without, you must see and hear within. Because whatever you do within gets pushed out. So it is so important that from here on, going forward, you stay true to this inner conversation of you two being in love, being satisfied, to your intentions into that inner conversation. So here are some techniques for you to persist and see incredible results. Okay, read them 3 times a day. Set an alarm on your phone. Morning, noon, and night is what I always recommend to my clients. And my clients see massive success in this. I've seen massive success in this. If you stay true to these inner conversations and you allow yourself time to learn them, to really commit to this new world, right? Not only is it going to feel really good, but you will see external results. But I actually like to go by the inner results. As you start to feel better, you start to really feel at one and at peace with your person. You feel more stable, you feel more at ease. And that to me is actually one of the first signs that you are really committed to the new world. And now every time you think about your SP, instead of going to the old conversation or to the old version, or if you're around them and you see things you don't like, just go to the new conversation. See them, feel them squeeze you, feel them just like hold you and love you. And remember, they are only alive inside of you, right? Hear them say, I am you pushed out. I'm right here. I love you, right? Have them encourage you. Have them just tell you how much they adore you and how this is working. Let them be your inner cheerleader. Okay, that's going to be really helpful. And every time you think of them, just have a little loving, flirtatious conversation with them. Learn to just like create so much joy within every time you think of them. Okay? And every time you talk about the relationship, focus on the one of love. The one you just created, that is the only real one now. Stay committed to that. That's why we're going to be reading it, morning, noon, and night. You want to keep it top of mind because the old one will try to creep in, but just persist. Change it. Go back to what you really want to create. Ask yourself as you're thinking about an old conversation, do I want to create this? Because now you know your inner conversations do create. So stay true to what you want. Okay? So yes, as old thoughts arise, change them. Change them. They're only coming up because you're going into this new reality. So they're just coming up so you can change them. Okay? Just stay true to what you really want only. And to the best of your ability, avoid reacting. Let go of blaming, of criticism, of envy, of taking joy in the misfortune of others, because everyone is you pushed out. This whole world is you pushed out. So we can now create everyone to be so loving and caring. And if you really want to test out inner conversations, right, and see some pretty quick results, do it with family members, do it with friends, do it with everyone. You're doing them anyway. So start to have the most loving conversations with everyone. All right, so these are your techniques, but most importantly, stay true to the inner conversation that you want to create, the one that lives from the fulfilled desire. Right? You can access your SP at any time. They are always alive within you. So no more worrying or asking them where they are or what's going on. Have a loving conversation with them. Have them encourage you and support you. And as long as every thought and conversation you have about them is positive, or at least dominantly positive, you will see results. Now, if you need any additional support, I am available for one-on-one coaching. We'll do a lot of what you've seen here, but we'll go in deeper to obviously your specific situation, what's going on. I love giving people experiences where they really feel their inner SP, and hopefully, and I intend that you had one today. So if you need more support, be sure to reach out, go to our website, or email us at sessions@createyourfuture.co, and we can definitely make sure you get a session with me. I want to end on one of my favorite quotes by Neville Goddard, is become a master of the world, mold the world into the kingdom of love. I really believe that's what we're all here to do. We are all meant to have our specific person here and now, and to continue to mold our own heaven on earth through our inner conversations. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for being willing to live into your wish fulfilled, to be willing to mold this world into a world of love, and to give yourself everything you're worthy of, because you're worthy of everything and it's all yours. So I hope and I intend that you walk away feeling more love in your heart, feeling held and nourished by your inner SP, knowing that it's going to get pushed out. And I intend that you are so much more aware of the power you've always held within, and you utilize it to create so much love in this world because you deserve it. Thanks for watching, everyone.